Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Jake the Genealogist, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the family tree of Beethoven. Now, I'm not really going to get too much into his biography here. I'll put a couple sources down in the description if you want a further account of his life. Let's just jump into his family tree. So, Ludwig was born on the 16th of December 1770 in Bonn, then in the electorate of Cologne, as the second of 7 children born to Johann Van Beethoven and Maria Magdalena Keverich. Now, his 6 siblings were Ludwig Maria, born in 1769, Caspar Anton Karl, born in 1774, Nikolaus Johann, born in 1776, Anna Maria Franziska, born in 1779, Franz George in 1781, and Maria Margarete Josefa in 1786. And all but these two, right here, Caspar and Nikolaus, died as either infants or really small children. Now, it's worth noting that the surname Van Beethoven is Dutch for from Betenhoven, or the modern-day city of Betancourt in Wallonia, Belgium. So, Johann Van Beethoven was actually not from Bonn. He originally came from Mechelen, which is in modern-day Flanders in Belgium, but back then was in the Habsburg Netherlands. And his mother, Maria Magdalena, came from Ehrenbreitstein, a village on the Rhine. Now, like Ludwig, Johann was also a musician. He sang and he played harpsichord, clavichord, violin, and zither. However, Johann never really had much success, truth be told, as he was a bit of a mediocre singer. And also, he's pretty well known for being an alcoholic and ruthlessly beating his son. So, now we're going to get into his parents. So, Johann was born the only surviving child to Ludwig and Maria Josefa Pohl, sometime between 1739 and 1740. He was only half Flemish, his mother being from the Rhineland. Now, Ludwig the Elder, as we'll refer to him as, was also a singer, and he was one of the most prominent in Bonn. And as a side job, he was also involved in the export of wine, and he died in Bonn in 1773. Now, Ludwig the Elder's wife, Maria Josefa, just like her son Johann, also became an alcoholic, and at the end of her life, she was taken to a clinic, and she died only 2 years after her husband. The identity of Ludwig's parents is kind of debated, as there is actually multiple records for Ludwig van Beethoven's born in 1712. But the most generally accepted by genealogists is that he was born in Mechelen, same as his son, to a baker, Michael van Beethoven, and his wife, Maria Louise Stuckers. And he also had a surviving sibling named Cornelius, but we don't know much about his descendants. So from Michael, we could trace the line further back. Beethoven's surname traces all the way back, as far as I could tell, to a Choldovik Van Beethoven living in the late 14th century in Namur, Belgium. Now we get on to Beethoven's siblings. So, like I mentioned, he had 2 siblings, Caspar and Nikolaus Johann, who's better known as just Johann. And both of them married. So Caspar married Johanna Rice, and she'll be important in a bit. And Johann married Therese Obermeier. Now, Nikolaus and his wife had no kids, but Caspar and Johanna did. They had one son named Karl, who actually survived into adulthood. Neither brother became a musician. Nikolaus became a pharmacist and died in 1848, and Caspar became a clerk and bureaucrat. Now, Caspar unfortunately fell sick with tuberculosis in 1812, and he died at the age of only 41 in 1815, leaving in his will his son Karl in the custody of both his mother, Johanna, and his uncle, Ludwig. And basically, long story short, Johanna and Ludwig did not like each other at all. Like, immediately from Caspar marrying her, they had some sort of enmity. and they hated each other. And I guess basically Casper's reasoning was that if he left his son in the guardianship of the two, that they would resolve their differences. But unfortunately, they did not. And Beethoven got involved in a brutal legal battle with his sister-in-law. But in the end, as Johanna had previously been arrested for theft and embezzlement, she was found after 4 years to be an untrustworthy guardian, and so Beethoven ended up winning the legal battle for Karl. Unfortunately, though, these episodes, between his mother and his uncle, put Karl under an enormous amount of stress, and he actually tried to commit suicide several times. He later joined the army against his uncle's wishes in 1826, and served until 1832. Now, a year later, he actually married to Caroline Barbara Nasky, and he had 5 children that survived into adulthood. Caroline Johanna Weidinger, Maria Anna, also Weidinger, a son, Ludwig Johann, and 2 more daughters, Gabrielle Heimler and Hermine Axmann. Just like his father, Ludwig Johann joined the army, but he was kind of a trickster and con man, and he actually deserted his regiment and even stole money from them, and then he escaped to Bavaria, and he became pretty influential in the court of Ludwig II of Bavaria, claiming to actually be Beethoven's grandson rather than his grandnephew, and he got a lot of money out of this, but they found out that he was totally bluffing, and after being faced with criminal charges, he immigrated with his wife, who was a piano teacher, and his pretty young son, Carl Julius, to the United States for a short period of time, Ludwig changing his name to Louis van Hoven, and starting a wheelchair rental business. Now, they later moved back to Europe in the 1880s, and Ludwig ended up dying poor in 1913, leaving the Beethoven name to his son, Carl Julius. Unfortunately, though, Carl Julius never married, and he went off to serve in the army in 1916, but he got injured, and after a surgery, he died of peritonitis in 1917. And Carl Julius was actually the very last person in Beethoven's family to bear the name. And the name just died out, just like Mozart and Bach in my previous videos. Luckily, there are still relatives of Beethoven who are living today. Lots of great nephews and nieces, all of whom are descended from Ludwig Johann's sisters instead. But nobody bears the name Beethoven anymore. Sorry to end on that kind of sour note, but hope you enjoyed this video. And sorry about my hiatus. Once again, this keeps happening. I need to motivate myself to get on a more consistent upload schedule. But now that I have successfully gotten a new computer, because my other one completely broke down, I should be putting out much more videos, much more fast. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.